So this topic is pretty much important, and so if you guys are from Oracle background, and you might have a lot of opportunities to tune a query. Okay, whenever the performance of a particular query is low, so we have a lot of options where we can pin our execution plans, and we can migrate the execution plan from one server to another server. There are a lot of opportunities are there, but here in Postgres we have very limited things to tune the query. When I say limited things, in the context of DBA, there are very limited things for tuning a slow running query or bad performed query. So the more opportunities you will get it from, like the query rewriting, where the developers will take care of it, rewriting the entire logic. As a DBA, we do not care about this query rewriting because we don't know the business functionality, and we don't have that much in-depth development experience to rewrite the queries to match the business logic and increase the performance. Okay, so now in this class we are going to discuss how we are going to deal with the performance issues. Okay, so based on my experience, okay, not only my experience, based on the type of performance issue, so we can divide this scenarios into two types. One is, okay, one is what we need to do as a DBA. Okay, what we need to do as a DBA when, 1 minute, I think I have some issues with this. Alright. Okay, so how we can divide this performance issues, right? The existing query, taking time, and second one is a brand new query is taking time. So these are all the two aspects in which we are trying to figure out the issues for the performance. Okay, we are trying to figure out the issues for the performance. So how we are going to deal with these things, we are going to see in detail. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to see, right? So if someone, or if an application team is complaining that the query is running fine still yesterday, but today we are facing some issue and the execution time is more. So, and one more thing that you need to remember is, like Oracle, we don't have a concept of AWR report. So what does it mean by AWR report in Oracle? In Oracle, AWR report means we can check what has been happened and what are the queries that were running during a particular session by generating a AWR report. But in Postgres, we don't have such options. Even in fact, we cannot check the previous history of the queries which were running an hour back and 2 hours back. Okay, so whenever someone is complaining, whenever the application team is complaining that the query which was running fine till yesterday is taking time, the first thing that we are going to check is, we will try to check, do we have any blocking sessions in the database. Okay, how can we check the blocking sessions? At the end of the Postgres DB training, within 2 days I will be sending you all the queries which are required to check all these things. Okay, first we will try to check what is the blocking session. Do we have any blocking sessions in the database? If we don't have any blocking sessions, then so whatever the query that is taking more time, we will try to collect all the tables that are involved in the query. Collect all tables which are involved in the query. So we will try to collect all the tables which are involved in the query, and we will try to check, do we have any dead tuples. So yesterday's class we have already discussed that. So how to check the dead tuples, live tuples, and all those things. Do we have any dead tuples or not? If we have any dead tuples, then what we will do? If we have any dead tuples, then we will try to run a vacuum operation. Then we will try to run a vacuum analyze operation on the table and check whether the dead tuples got removed or not. So as I said yesterday, though you run the vacuum operation, it may or may not remove the dead tuples, because if any long running transaction is in need of these dead tuples, then though you run the vacuum operation, dead tuples will not get removed. So after running the vacuum operation again, I will check whether do we have any dead tuples or not. If you have any dead tuples still remain though you run the vacuum operation, right, then we need to check, do we have any long running transactions or abandoned transactions. How can we check? So there is a table called pg underscore stat underscore activity. If you remember, so yesterday also we have seen that. So there is a process called stats collector which is responsible for gathering the statistics, and also it is responsible for monitoring the queries that are being running against the database. Okay, so from the pg underscore stat underscore activity table, we are trying to find out the list of queries which are currently running, and we can check the long running transactions, like which are running more than 1 hour or which are running more than 2 hours kind of thing. And with an application owner approval, we will try to kill those queries. Okay, so and we will rerun the vacuum operation and will inform the application teams to check whether the query performance got better or not. Okay, so as I said, we are going to kill the transactions. As I said, like, so how you will kill the transactions? There is a function called pg underscore. There is a function called pg underscore terminate underscore backend. This is a function which is used to kill the sessions in database. Okay, so how can we kill that? Select pg underscore terminate underscore backend of pid. So this PID, where you will get from where you will get this PID? You will get this PID from PG stat activity table. So this is one of the important question. How you will kill the session in a database? In a Postgres database, how you will kill? So PG underscore terminate underscore backend, very important. It will take PID as an input, and this PID we will get it from the PG underscore stat underscore activity table. Let me try to connect to the database first and we'll see. So let me open one more session. So let me try to connect which DB we are using. DMS, right? Yes. Do we have any data anywhere? Select star from demo dot. Okay, slash dt demo dot star. Do we have any data? Select star from. Okay, let me try to insert some data. Okay, insert into. Okay, it is okay. Okay, numeric value, I'm sorry. Okay, let me try to insert more and more data so that it will take some time to execute, so that meanwhile I'll try to show you how to kill a session. Just I'm inserting more and more and more and more and more data. So meanwhile, oh sorry, let me try to check what is. So if someone asks you like what is running on the database, how can you check? Just log into this database and you can run this query from anywhere. Select dat name, comma, username, comma, PID, comma, query from pg underscore stat underscore activity, where state equal to active. See, the insert statement is running from Postgres user with the PID of 4214. Now what I'll do, I'll try to kill this. How can I do that? Select pg underscore terminate underscore backend of 4214. See, the terminated is done. The moment it got terminated, see, the connection got terminated abruptly. Okay, now let me do select count of star from demo dot app. Let it count. So meanwhile what I will do, right, I'll try to, there is one more command called pg underscore cancel underscore backend. This is also one of the important interview question. Select pg underscore cancel underscore backend of, what is the, 1 minute, let me, it will take PID an example, that's okay. Now what I'll do, that I'll try to insert it again so that I can show, I will get a chance to show you what is happening. So insert into demo tab again, I'm adding the data. So what I'm trying to do here, and I'm trying to let the query execute more times so that I can get a chance to show you what is happening in the database. Okay, so the PID is 4297. So now pg underscore cancel underscore backend of 42. So I did a cancel. When I did a cancel, the session will not be terminated abruptly. Okay, the session will not be terminated abruptly. It will be cancelled and the data will be rolled back. Okay, it will be cancelled and data will be rolled back. Okay, the session termination is not abrupt in case of like a cancel backend. In case of terminate backend, the session will be terminated abruptly. Okay, so this is how, so what you will do. So whenever you get any performance issue for an existing query, the checkpoints would be, first try to find out the blocking sessions, and the second checkpoint would be try to collect the list of tables that are being used in the query. We are not going to check for the index and all, because why are we not going to check for the index and all? Because this query was running fine till yesterday. Okay, so which means there was no issue with the indexes or anything, right? So we'll try to collect the list of tables that are being used in the query, and from the list of tables I'll try to find out the number of dead tuples and when the vacuum has been happened, and if any number of dead tuples are there, then I'll try to run the vacuum operation. If you run the vacuum operation and still the dead tuples are there, which means, what does it mean? Which means, like, there must be any long running transaction which is holding this dead tuple. So from the pg underscore stat underscore activity table, I'll try to find out the long running transactions, and I'll, with the help of an application owner approval, we'll try to terminate those long running transactions and rerun the vacuum, and we will try to ask the application teams to check the performance of a query. And so can we go ahead and directly run a vacuum full operation? It's not recommended to run the vacuum full operation directly during the business hours, because vacuum full is going to have an exclusive lock on the like table. So if you run during the peak hours or business hours, it might causes some blocking sessions. Okay, some blocking sessions in the database. So this is what you will do whenever you get a issue with an existing query. Any doubts so far?
Which type of questions we expect from this topic, please?
Sorry,
Which type of questions?
this is the question. So how you will troubleshoot your, how you will troubleshoot the performance issues in your environment. So as it is, you can tell. So if there is an existing query, then we will follow this approach. If it is a new query, then we will follow the next approach, which way I am going to check now. And one more thing, they might ask you, right, how you will kill a session in database. Okay, these are all the questions that they might ask, and this is the only question that I have faced so far. So, how you will troubleshoot the performance issues? If it is an existing query, we need to explain the scenario. If it is so, no need to explain the both the scenarios. If you explain both the scenarios in the single question, you will not be giving a chance to ask further. So that he'll wind up this performance concept and he'll go to the next session. So, and one more thing that you need to mention is, as a DBA, I might not have the experience to rewrite the entire query because we don't know the business functionality. That is the phrase that you need to put in. So otherwise, he might be expecting from you that you might be able to rewrite the query, and he might ask you like which join will be faster, which index will be faster, kind of things they'll ask. So we are not supposed to give a chance to him, like say but that's the reason why in advance we need to say like, as a DBA, I might not be able to rerun. Okay, I might not be able to rewrite the entire query because we don't know the business logic. So in the DBA context, I will check these and these and these things. I will check. That's how you need to start and explain both the scenarios so that he'll wind up this performance tuning concept. He'll go to the next concept again. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to check is how, if it is a new query, how you will troubleshoot. So if it is a new query and which is taking time, okay, so the developer will comes to you and saying that, hey DBA, so this is the query that I have developed, but it is taking more time. So now, do we need to check for the blocking sessions? Yes, we can check it for. Do we need to check for the vacuum and all? You can check, but that must not be the primary source of information to troubleshoot the bad performing query. So as it is a new query, first you need to generate an explain plan. First you need to generate an explain plan, and you need to check, is there any full table scans that is happening, is there any full table scans that is happening blindly, if there is any full table scan. And one more thing that you need to remember is, whatever the columns that are being used in the where clause or join condition, those must be indexed. Okay, those must be indexed. So that is the blind thing that you need to follow. So let's say, let me try to create one table and check how it is going to perform. Okay, so if it is a new query, what we are going to do, as a first step we are going to, do what we are going to check the explain plan. So let me create a table, demo.emp, employee number numeric, employee name varchar of 100, salary numeric, comma department number numeric. I have created array, create table, create demo.app, sorry, demo.emp, employee number array. Okay, now let me try to insert some data. Insert into demo.emp values. Employee number is 1, employee name is Hari, and salary is 1000, and department number is 10. Array. insert into, what is this employee name, varchar of 100 only, no? Okay, 1 comma, 1 minute, 1 comma, array, 1 minute, 1 minute, demo dot e. Okay, let me try to create more such rows so that it will be easy to. Okay, employee number is 2. Let's say employee number, just I'm trying to change the department numbers. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let me change 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, 200. Let me run this. So let's say, so this query is taking time. So let me, if someone is saying like a select star from, okay, so slash timing will give you the timing. Okay, select star from demo.emp where department number equal to 10. 5.93 milliseconds, right? So it has taken how much time? 5.93493 milliseconds. So how can you stop this timing? Again, you need to give timing, then timing is off. If you want to enable timing. So now let me try to generate explain space, and I need to give this. Okay, then it will generate an explain plan. Explain plan means it is going to show you what are the statistics that it is going to take while executing a query. Explain space select star from demo.emp where department number equal to 10. So it is going for sequential scan. Sequential scan means it is going to a full table scan where it is going to do what? It is going to scan the entire table and it is giving the result, okay, which is a bad thing. So now what I'm trying to do, I'll try to generate a create an index, create index. What is the index name? Index name will be dname underscore index. Create index name on table name dot and table name of column name. What is the table name? Demo dot emp of department number. As we are using, okay, as we are using, as we are using department number in the where condition, just I'm trying to create index on the department number column. Okay, index created. Now, so whenever you create the index, right, you have to let the system know that you created some index on this table. How the optimizer will know about the index? For that you need to run the analyze operation. So analyze. So the moment you create the index, right, it may or may not be visible to the optimizer unless or until you gather the statistics on the table. So how we are going to gather the statistics? We are going to gather the statistics using analyze operation. Analyze space demo.emp. Okay, now let me generate the explain plan again. See how much time it has taken? 5.493 milliseconds without index, right? Without index, how much time it has taken? It has taken 5.493 milliseconds, whereas with index it has taken how much time? With index it has taken 0.659 milliseconds. That is the difference that you would be seeing when you create an index. Okay, when you create a index. So that's how you need to generate an explain plan, and you need to check which column is going for a full table scan and which column is going for a index scan. And one more interview question that you will get is, what is the difference between explain and explain analyze? What is the difference between? So now let me try to create explain select star from emp where department number equal to 10. Sorry, from demo. Okay, this is how. Now let me try to run an explain plan. Just try to find out the difference. And explain analyze select star from emp. See now what it is doing. Actually it should give the result as well, but somehow it's not giving. Yeah, so if you see, it is giving the planning time and execution time as well. An additional output, it is giving a planning time and execution time as well. And one more thing it used to do, right, till the Postgres version 14 and all, it used to execute the query as well. So we must get the data. Once you run this, you must get the data as well, but somehow we are not getting the data. But I'll check this why it is not getting the data in Postgresql 16. So the difference between explain and explain analyze is, explain is going to generate an execution plan, whereas explain plan is going to generate an in detailed execution plan, like how much, what is the planning time, what is the execution time, and it will also give you, see, as you have applied department number equal to 10, out of all rows, the 12 rows are removed, 11 rows are removed by filter, which means they are not matching the condition. Okay, they are not matching the condition. This much of details will be given by the explain analyze, whereas explain is going to simply generate the execution plan, and explain analyze is going to generate the execution plan along with the planning timings and execution timings as well. So this is the difference between explain and explain plan. So whenever someone is coming to you saying that that is a new query which is taking time, the first thing that we are going to do, we will create an explain plan and check, do we have any full table scans that are happening, and we recommend the application teams to create the indexes and the columns that are being used in the where clause or join condition. And once that is done, we will run the analyze operation and we will try to check the performance of a query. As a DBA, these are all the only things that we can do. And if these things are not working, then the application team has to rewrite the entire query to increase the performance, to better the performance of a query. And one more thing that we can do, right, which I cannot show you practically, so because what happens, right, so whenever the query is running, whenever a new query is running, and you need to monitor it from the pg underscore stat underscore activity table, pg underscore stat underscore activity table, we need to monitor what is the wait event. If the wait event is buffer file read, or if the wait event is buff file write, if the wait event is buffer file read, or if the wait event is buffer file write, which means whatever the work memory that we have allocated, that is not enough. So if you remember, when we were discussing about the work memory, we discussed that, okay, when we were discussing about the work memory, we discussed that whenever you perform any operation which contains group by, order by, or join operations, those are going to happen initially in the work memory, and if the work memory is not enough, then the operations will spill onto the disk. That is what we have discussed. Okay, so whenever you see the buffer file read and buffer file write wait event during the running of a session, which means the work memory is not enough, then we will try to increase or tweak the parameter called work memory. So these are all the operations or options that we do as a DBA to troubleshoot the performance issues, and that is what you need to answer. So to brief this, okay, how we will answer, right? So if someone asks you like how you will troubleshoot the performance issue, then we can say like, the entire performance issue we will divide into two things. how we are going to troubleshoot if the query is the existing query which is running fine till some time and now it is having some performance issues, and the brand new query. If the existing query is taking time, then for sure we are not going to check the explain plan and all, because it is an existing query which was running fine. So the first route that we will first thing that we will check is a blocking session. We will log into the database and check do we have any blocking sessions in the database. If not, then we will try to gather the list of tables that are being used in the query, and from that we will try to check do we have any dead tuples, and when this table was vacuumed, analyzed, and as if it has any dead tuples, then we will try to run the vacuum operation and check whether dead tuples got removed or not. If the dead tuples are not getting removed, which means these dead tuples are used or holded by some of the long running transactions. So from the pg underscore stat underscore activity table, we will try to check the long running transactions and kill the long running transactions with the help of an application owner approval. Once that is done, we will try to rerun the vacuum operation and check, and we'll ask the application team to check the performance. And if the query is a new query, then we will try to generate an explain plan and check do we have any full table scans happening. And the thumb rule is we must have an index on the columns that are being used in the where clause or join condition. Okay, so then once the indexing is done, we will try to run the analyze operation, then we will ask the application teams to check the performance. And one more thing that we will check is if any query is running and during that time, if the wait event from the pg stat activity table is a buffer file read or buffer file write, then it means work memory is not enough, then we will try to increase the work memory. So this is what you need to reply. Answer. And one more question that they will ask you: what is the difference between explain and explain analyze? Explain is going to generate the explain plan, whereas explain analyze is going to give you the execution time, planning times, and all those details as well. And how you will kill a query? So we will use a pg underscore terminate underscore backend command to kill the p, and it will take pid as an input to kill the particular session in the Postgres database. So this is about the basics of a performance tuning in Postgres. In the next class, so we are going to see how you are going to upgrade your Postgres from one version to the another version. Okay, that's it for today, and we'll connect tomorrow again. Any doubts so far? Any doubts so far?
No.
Thank you. We'll connect tomorrow again.